So I've been showing what they've been doing to me, the way they've manipulated me. I've been showing that there's been a pattern of what they've done, then show that this is not only done to me, but it's a pattern they have. They have a pattern of tormenting people. It's obvious, and it's something that you can escape from. But with me, what they've been doing is, no, you know what you're experiencing today is something you experienced when you were a child. Look at these two pictures, right? One is like one child baby that's like in a refugee kid in some country in Africa, and the other is just a baby. If it was like one of the videos that scroll down, and they'd be like, "Oh, you see, you feel that feeling in it," and say, "No, that's the feeling you felt when you were like." They went as young as me, as being 8 years old. Now we mapped it. We made you feel the way you felt when you were that young. That's how you experience it. And when they say that, they truly want you to be subscriptive of this. It's like looking at an adult man. It's like, no, we are making you experience the things that you experienced when you were a kid. And then every time they do these things, because you can understand how stupid that sounds, right? Who do you think they're going to send to try to kind of reinforce this stupidity? They send a childlike individuals like, no, they are. Because you understand that this is just something that just as a rational person, you would never like, what? Wait. So you're making this adult person think the way he would think when he was a child. And that is, wait, what? So a childlike individual like, no, they are. And you can hear the rational, the stupidity of being a child. Talking. Listen to her. It's like, wow. Because when they send this adult man or adult woman try to be like, no, you see, that's proven mapped. It's like, listen to you. You're saying that you're making me think a way I would think when I was a child. And that is logical. Immediately when I bring that up, it's like, oh, you're going to get raped. You understand how dumbed down it sounds even to them, so they have to diverge? Immediately when you say this, you are saying that you're making me experience something I would experience if I was a child. Because you're saying that I experienced that when I was a child. So today, as an adult man, adult person, you're saying that you've made me start thinking the way I've once thought when I was a child. And immediately, oh, you're going to get raped. Prepare yourself for that. Try to diverge. Because you understand what it means. It means it's nonsensicalness. They are forcing me to experience these things. It's falsified. It's not even like me when I was a child. I never looked at babies like that and felt like stimulation that they make me. It's disgusting. But even when they try to be like, no, listen to the logic we have. That logic that they try to present it on its own, it just shows that they're just manipulating your brain. In my brain, like, okay, no, this baby's, but little babies like this and that. And then they try to be like, no, but remember when you were like in middle school, remember what you did, remember, and try to be like, listen, as a child, I did something stupid. Even looking back, I'm like, what was I thinking? But I understand, a kid can do stupid things like that. As a child, you can do impulsive things like that, and you understood that this is what a child did impulsively. And on top of that, because it never happened again, so what they do now is try to create something. And matter of fact, they have to even exaggerate what I actually did as a child. And today, these people who do the pedophilia type of torture want you to think that, no, we just kind of made you think the way you think when you were a child. No, I never thought like that when I was a child. And then they try to go, okay, when you were younger, you did. When you were like 9 years old, when you were 10, when you were 8 years old, remember? And the reality is these people obviously do the pedophilia type of torture. Now imagine people who have a pattern of doing this manipulation that are pedophilia-centric. Matter of fact, 2 weeks ago, somebody ended up killing 18 people because he was pushed to that level because they're calling him a pedophile, right? So you understand this pedophilia thing that they do. And on top of that, you're going to hear this clear patterns of this pedophilia type of torture. You're going to hear a trans woman saying that They're making me think in this way. A woman literally say they're doing the pedophilia type of torture. Literally saying that terminology is not something I made up. And then they send this childlike individual whose job, because being the childlike individual, is to be the dumb one, to reinforce the dumbness. And then diversion. Oh no, we're cruel. It's like, yes, you're cruel because you torture even children sexually. And so these people who work for government entities who actually fill with pedophiles, what you're going to hear, are trying to make you accept the manipulations that they are renowned to be applying onto people. Then try to make it seem like they're protecting children when they're in a program that tortures children in ways that you can't even understand. When the agencies running this program are filled with pedophiles. And then you just heard a man who ended up killing 18 people because he was hearing voices calling him a pedophile. And then they try to use the psyops. Oh no, we're women, we have children. You hear that they are literally women saying there's a lot of females involved in this program. For me, is this: I will never let them escape. Never. And whatever they try to bring up to make me subscribe to this manipulation, I'll never subscribe to it. When they talk about me as a child and the stupid thing I did, I know children can do this, but I know what you guys do to children. And you have to even exaggerate what I did as a child while you try to block out what you do to children. I'm never going to let them escape.
It's somebody trying to end my life. It's somebody trying to end who I am as a person. It's somebody trying to take over my mind, putting thoughts of pedophiles. This disgusting thing. You saw where I was going with that first word. Disgusting things that I don't even want to talk about because it makes me sick. I don't even like those words in my mind. But it is what it is. So I have no choice now but to acknowledge that there are people in my surroundings or whatever they're doing. I don't know how they do it. I don't care. I don't know if it's through weapons. I don't know.
Odorants. This is the alteration of the smell sensation so that I am often made to smell various things, including smoke, burning, dirty diaper, or baby powder, which they sometimes combine with the pedophilia type of torture, including the threat of
mental images. Almost all targets are forced to view child pornography in their minds. And
recently apologized for this. My young child and I have been used as non-consensual test subjects. We have been subjected to COINTELPRO-like stalking, remote neural monitoring, and electromagnetic torture, resulting in psychological and physical damage.
2 months straight, and that's also when they made it worse when I eat. And I also work with a 4-year-old little girl with Down syndrome, as well as her 5-year-old sister who also has Down syndrome. I observed both of these girls suddenly grabbing their genitals in pain and verbalizing, "ow." I observed this at least on 1 or 2 occasions for each of them during their separate sessions.
To impose any information on the brain of a person, presumably by some kind of waves, which in the mind take the form of voices, thoughts and images and imagination. In addition to this kind of implanting information that they need, they manipulate the psyche so that the information is written into your memory. Then by stimulating the certain regions in the brain, they can retrieve this information and present it as your own memory. This is the conclusion that can be made judging by the influence they have been making on me with their psychotronic weapons, for example artificial thoughts, imagination, and mental torture. Continue with the programming of perversion, but this time they are aiming in the use of people, better said young people, also children and homosexual.
Then a couple of days later, a female said the same thing. Don't get shot in the face. Stupid shit like that. But what I really noticed is with the voices go, it's a bunch of females. And I'm like, bro, really? You're not a woman. What real woman would stalk another female?
Today, the mass shooting that occurred in Maine last week, killing 18 people, was the country's deadliest of the year. It may also have been one of the most avoidable.
teenage son and the ex-wife say that he has started to hear voices. He's started to be increasingly paranoid and angry, hanging out together at a motel, and he starts accusing them of calling him a pedophile. This is one of his paranoid delusions that comes up repeatedly.
CIA raping children and sexually assaulting children, and they're not being prosecuted? Where are you?
Said that when workers' computers were examined, the amount of child porn I see is just unbelievable. Is this something that is
files allowed to be given top-level security clearance? Remember, these aren't just people walking in off the street and saying, hey, can I get hired? Can I get a job? You're put through an extremely rigorous background check screening process. It's called an SSBI, single scope background investigation. There are people, they interview you, they interview your family, they interview your contacts, they go through your online footprint, they go through everything. So why is it that when they're going through these footprints, they're not checking, these digital footprints, they're not checking for so many pedophiles getting through their ranks? If it were up to me, you need to go into Congress, and Congress needs to launch a brand new church committee, number one, to talk about domestic surveillance operations, but number two, to ask the question, why are there so many pedophiles sitting behind
government spots that live next door? The trickery really is that great when you're under hypnosis, that people will believe something other than a massive government could do this. And so anyway, my interview with Len, he very well described a typical breakdown script that's used on almost all the TI victims. TI stands for targeted individuals. Some of them are pretty crazy. They have names like Alice in Wonderland, Wizard of Oz, and those are the confusion tactics. And when they're breaking down the ego of the human through all the pains and tortures and the verbal breakdown, these are typical CIA torture scripts. And